He had been in pre-production for 10 weeks. He had shot for 3 weeks. He had a full crew on his payroll, and he had stopped shooting. And he had spent about, I would say about 25–30% of the budget by then. It was a $4 million budget. He spent about $1.5 million.
I'm curious, what sequences had they shot?
The thing they had shot is literally the 3 shots you see before titles. And so I read those 60 pages, and I said to him, maybe the smartest thing for you to do is shut it down. Eat the money, and, because I don't see a movie here. What was there was rambling. Max Dembo was a heavy addict, and the thing had no thread to it whatsoever, no arc whatsoever. As an afterthought, well, he looked at me, he was in a total panic at that point. As an afterthought, I said, you know what? Let me read the first draft, Alvin's first draft, before we call it quits. And he gave me the draft. I went home to read it, to the hotel. I read the draft that afternoon because obviously the pressure was enormous. I mean, it was having 40, 50 people on payroll without shooting. You can imagine what kind of pressure he was getting from the studio. And it was his first effort. And when I read that draft, which was 180 pages, I thought that I saw a movie I wanted to make. I saw a story I wanted to make. I saw a line to it, and I went back to him and I said, well, we don't have much time. Let's get a hold of Alvin. I'll sit down, we'll cut it down to manageable time, which would be about 115 pages. Alvin was in the middle, and I'll do it. If you agree to do this. And he said, fine, let's go ahead. I called Alvin, and we sat down. Alvin was in the middle of doing Ordinary People. He was like 6 months behind schedule. So he said to me, I can't go to work on this. I can't give you my time. I'll sit down with you. I'll cut it. I can give you 3 or 4 days, but that's the best I can do. I said, okay. So that's what we did. And I said to Dustin, we got to start shooting. I mean, we had it took us I cast some additional people. He had cast some of the main parts, and I looked at them. I looked at the footage of the auditions, and I approved a number of them. And then we had to cast Teresa. We had to cast, I think, Kathy Bates. I think he had cast Kathy Bates. And I said, let's start shooting. We gave ourselves 10 days, 2 weeks. The problem was that in cutting down a 180-page script to 115, 20 pages, there were big gaps left, gaps of logic. We knew how we wanted to end, but there were sections that a lot of it just going from let's say C to F. We didn't know how to get there, but there was no time to waste.
Some of that seems to me to the film's advantage. The transitions that you glide over, it's easy for the viewer to feel that the transitional scenes are implicit, and it is great excitement when you suddenly jump from the preparation of one job to they're walking through the door, and then it escalates in this way.
And also what happened is that within the scene somehow we had to create some kind of logic, so there was a logic from scene to scene. So basically what we ended up doing is using really the skeleton structure of Alvin's draft. And what we would do is we'd improvise at night and on the weekends. Someone would type it up, I would edit it, and the next morning we'd rehearse and shoot. And we were flying by the seat of our pants.
Did you shoot